What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and joining me for Love and Marriage DC, Season 1, Episode 3, No New Friends. So we are still at the dinner, the vegan dinner that Monique and Chris Samuels had hosted at their home, and they are talking about Winter's marriage. Ashley is still so confused on how Winter had missed so many red flags in her husband, Kevin. And I'm also a little bit confused as well because Winter is a relationship expert and he's a grown man. Kevin, her husband, her estranged husband, is a grown man. You've never been to his house ever. Okay. Okay. Now, Winter claims that it was because it was during COVID when they were dating, so they weren't going to each other's houses. And I'm like, people were having full blown parties, events, weddings. People were still traveling. What are you talking about? You couldn't go to his house. Just the two of y'all? Because you could still, gatherings could still happen. They just had to be limited. The number of people had to be limited. I don't remember any kind of mandate that said you could not go, you could not leave your house. You could still go and take care of business and do what you had to do and go visit family. They were just trying to encourage on limiting the number of people in one room. So, girl, you can miss us with that whole, we didn't see each other because of COVID. Or I didn't go to his house because of COVID. So Ashley's like, okay, you didn't go see him because of COVID, but y'all got married during COVID. So what are you talking about? Exactly. And I don't think that Winter had a straight answer for that. And you couldn't figure out that you couldn't tell that he didn't have a car. Now, I know in some cities, having a car is not mandatory. Like, I'm assuming like New York City, those really big major cities where there's a lot of public transportation. I guess it's okay to not have a car. So I don't know what's going on in Maryland. Maybe Maryland or the DMV area, it is necessary to have a car. Because I know in some places, honey, if you don't have a car, you're stuck like Chuck because public transportation, it's not like that in a lot of places. So Monique suggests that they play a game called Not for Lazy Couples. Okay, whatever, Monique. And she assigns Winter as the hostess because she is the relationship specialist. Now, everyone questioned that because she has failed two relationships. So they were like, why would she be the relationship specialist or why would she be the host of the game or whatever if she doesn't have a successful relationship? And so Winter argues that she's the perfect specialist because she has been through it all. She's been married, she's been single, she's been married, raising a family, she's been a single parent. So she's seen the whole gamut of relationships. So there's not a single person that she cannot relate to. And this is what makes her an expert. Ashley says an expert is someone who has been successful. No, not an expert. A specialist is someone who has been successful at what they do. And I kind of disagree with Ashley. I think to be a specialist, you don't have to have been successful in it. You just have to know a whole lot about it to talk about and to give advice on because you have been through it all. I kind of agree with Winter on that. I don't think you have to be in a success, but you know what? Maybe you do have to be in a successful one because people will come to you because they want their relationship to be successful. So they want the advice on a successful relationship. So you know what? I switch. I'm back on Ashley's side because I was initially, then I thought about it and I was like, okay, Winter made a good point, but now I'm really thinking about it. And I think Ashley made the better point that if people are going to come to you for help to make their own relationship work, they need someone who's been successful at it. Okay, Ashley, you got that one, girl. I agree with you 1,000%. Then they talk about celebrity crushes. Ashley's crush was, John Stamos. I agree with you with that as well, Ashley. And Quick, his was Rihanna. And I don't know what that started some kind of fight between them. Oh, Ashley said that, okay, she told her husband, well, you ain't got no chance with Rihanna. And then they started talking about how in this day and age, you can easily slid into a celebrity's DM. Celebrities can respond back to you. And Ashley said it, she said something like she had a chance with any celebrity. Her husband didn't have a chance with Rihanna, but she's got a chance with any celebrity because, of what she looks like. And Winter completely kind of like dismissed all of that. That was a weird conversation because it was such a theoretical type of conversation. Like it wasn't based in reality. But anyways, moving on. Arena and Jamie. So they're out there jogging and they are talking about the party or the dinner that they were at. And her husband was like, I was kind of surprised that you were talking so much about our relationship because you're the one that always tries to silence me when I want to talk about our relationship to other people. But you were at that dinner table just yap, 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 telling them everything from A to Z about our relationship. And Irena was like, well, don't forget that I told them I never caught you cheating. And I don't know why that's a good thing, because that doesn't mean he wasn't cheating, because the way you keep stressing how you never caught him cheating is telling us, girl, that he probably was out there wilding out, but you just never caught him. So I don't know why you keep bringing that up, because you keep making us think that your husband's a cheater. So she was like, yeah, but don't forget that I told him I never caught you cheating. And he was like, yeah, because you haven't. What? That was weird. So Jamie, I guess, is also like solidifying that, hey, I might be out there on these streets cheating on my wife, but she never caught me cheating. So then Irena talks about their son, and she tells her husband, look, you really need to try to make an effort to talk to little Jamie. And because she didn't have a father in her life, her father was in prison for the majority of her life. So she really wants her son and her husband to have that very close relationship where they can talk to each other, blah, blah, blah. So Jamie was like, girl, don't worry about that. Me and my son, we got this. I talked to him. We may not talk the way you want us to talk, but we communicate in our own special way. So don't worry about it. Moving on to Monique and Chris. Now they're planning for their trip to Africa. Now they've talked a lot about this trip to Africa. They brought it up at the dinner. Now we see them planning it. And I thought we were going to get some real footage of them in Africa, but I think we only got like a snippet of a giraffe eating from their table. They are in Kenya at the moment, when this is happening. They're in Kenya. And I don't know why I thought it was going to be like a couple's trip to Africa when they first announced it at the dinner, but it wasn't a couple's trip. It was just a family trip for Monique and Samuel. So I don't know if y'all watch Love and Marriage Huntsville, but Marceau, he went to Africa, but he went solo dolo. He didn't take his family with him, not even his wife. So I'm just like, Marceau, I hope you're taking notes. The next time you have an international trip, please take your wife, because it looks really damn suspicious that you would travel internationally for a vacation and leave your family behind. The way that Samuels do it, they have their problems, and Lord knows they got their problems, but that's how you do it. You take your whole family, let your children experience the motherland as well. That's how you do it, Marceau. So as they're getting ready for their trip, they're like, trying to get all the last minute stuff together. They talk about how Chris had told Monique to hush. And, Monique didn't like that. She thought that was extremely rude. Chris thought that it wasn't rude at all. He was like, it was a gentle way of telling her to shut the hell up. But that's just so, you don't do that. You don't do that in front of company. Tell your wife to hush. That was horrible. That was bad. I'd rather see y'all argue than you tell your wife to hush, because that was just very condescending. No, 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 Chris, that was not a good look at all. So she had every right to be mad at you. And she was like, I'm not going to hush. I don't even know why you waste your time telling me to hush, because I'm going to keep talking. There is issues with Monique and her husband. That's what I'm getting when I watch them interact, because every single episode, and there's only been 3, but all 3 episodes, there's conflict with them. Serious, major conflict. And there is something going on right beneath the surface. And I see, like with Chris, when I look at Chris, there's like a storm brewing right below the surface. And he is doing everything that he can possibly do to keep himself together and to keep this going. But there is something bothering Chris. And I have a feeling that it's because of those rumors that went around about Monique possibly cheating on him. Now, the kid is his. That third child is definitely a Samuel's. But I think that there were probably some truth to the rumors of Monique cheating on Chris, because there is something bothering that man, and I can't quite figure it out. And the only thing that I can come up with is that he probably was bothered by those rumors, because there might be some truth in that. And also the fact that Monique talks about how hopefully this trip to Africa will rekindle the romance between them, because the romance has been kind of dead. So I think that he hasn't been stepping up to the plate as far as, being romantic with her. And I think she found that romance somewhere else. Monique is a very attractive woman. I'm pretty sure all she's got to do is, bat an eyelash and the men come running by the hundreds and thousands. So she has no problem picking and choosing who and what she wants if she was interested in some extracurricular activities. But I really do think that Monique possibly cheated on Chris. And I think that's what's pissing him off. Now, Chris would never, ever admit it to himself or even admit it to her or anyone else, because I think Chris is so self centered and so egotistical that for him to even admit to the possibility of his wife cheating, it's sort of like he's admitting that he's less than, that he was not enough for his wife, that there was something lacking in him that made his wife go seek it somewhere else. So he doesn't want to ever come off as he wasn't the perfect husband. He wasn't the full package for Monique. So he's never going to admit to the fact that he has suspicions of her cheating, because he doesn't want to come off like, he couldn't satisfy his wife. But I really do think that there was a possibility to that. And if it's not that, it's definitely something else, because these two people have not gotten along at all since episode 1. And they're constantly begging and pleading for marital advice. Honey, you can plead for marital advice until the cows come home. You can get advice from couples who've been married together for 100 years. It's not going to matter. Relationships are like damn fingerprints. They are different for everyone. And just because a couple that's been together for centuries gives you advice on what worked for them, it doesn't necessarily mean it's what's going to work for you. Because a lot of people who've been married a long time, I think I don't know if they admit this or not, but especially with older couples, people who've been married like 40, 50 years, there was a lot of turning your head the other way. And that's how they made it work. You saw your spouse up to no good, but instead of getting a divorce, you just turned your head the other way and you acted like it didn't happen. Or you talked about it and you just decided to live with it. There's a lot of that going on marriages that are long lasting. There's a lot of, I'm just going to ignore it. I'm just going to overlook it. We're going to talk about it, but I'm still going to stay even though you did me wrong and you did me. There's a lot of putting up with crap. That's why these marriages are lasting. So, honey, there is no magic formula to a long-lasting marriage. You can ask anybody you want to ask. It don't matter, because what works for some people may not work for you. Monique, you may not be the kind of girl that wants to put up with your man cheating on you. I don't know. Evidently, Chris is the kind of guy that doesn't mind putting up with that, because let me say no more. So Monique talks about how this trip to Africa hopefully can help them reconnect as a couple and bring their romance back. Winter, her mother comes over. They talk about how Chris met with Kevin, and Kevin had told Chris that, he's so in love with Winter and he wants his family back. And Winter and her mom are like, Kevin is not in love with me. Kevin is just obsessed. He has like a very obsessive nature. So it's not love, it's obsession. Was it obsession or was it controlling? Obsession. Irena and Ashley, they get together because Ashley's going to have some type of Botox treatment, but it's not for her face, it's for her armpits, because she has a really bad sweating condition. So Botox is supposed to help with excessive sweating. They talk about Winter. Ashley does not see it for Winter. Irena says that Ashley had gotten super heated with Winter, and Winter felt very much attacked by Ashley. And of course she felt attacked because she was attacking her. Ashley went in on Winter. She basically was like, how could you be so stupid to marry a man like that? And you missed all of these glaring red flags that were hitting you upside the head. There must have been something about that man that Winter was willing to ignore the red flags for. I don't know what it is, because he didn't have any money. He's old as hell. So I'm not really sure what Winter saw in him that made her want to ignore she saw those red flags. Winter's an intelligent woman. She saw those red flags, but she was like, you know what? I'm going to put up with it, or I'm just going to turn a blind eye to it, because she was trying to get something out. I don't know. So then Jamie's out. Okay, Jamie's out with his sons at the gym. Little Jamie, and Jason. Jason is the one that's visually impaired. And Quick shows up with his son. So the whole purpose of this was for Quick to take little Jamie to the side, give him some OG advice about, hey, you don't want to live this life of the street life because you're going to end up dead or in jail. I lived it. I barely made it through because I got shot. My homeboy serving life. This is not what you want. Choose better. Okay, fine. Jamie takes heed. Now, Jason, he talked about him and Quick he was talking to Quick, I think. Well, anyways, Jason talked about how his dad wants him to be a DJ, and he really doesn't want to be a DJ. And I was like, wow, That's interesting. I was very interested in that. How Big Jamie is pressuring Jason to go into something that, Jason's just not interested in. I was really interested in that, but it didn't last long. Moving on. So all the women get together for dinner except for Monique because she's out there feeding giraffes in Africa. So, Winter put this dinner together because she wanted to try to connect with all the women because, she only knows them through Monique. And so she wants to see if they can establish a friendship independent from Monique. Ashley doesn't see it for Winter, like I said before. She was like, I'm not really that keen on gaining new friends. So yeah, you can miss me with that. I'm very cautious with who I put in my inner circle. I don't really know you, so I'm gonna deal with you at arm's length. We're not friends. We're not homegirls. It ain't like that with us. So let's just kind of take this day by day and see where it goes. But yeah, to call you your friend, I don't think so. So Ashley says that, no, it was someone had talked about how at Monique's dinner, there was a lot of talk about Kevin. And, like Ashley was just going on and on and on about Kevin. And Ashley was like, you know what? Actually, I was really bored talking about Kevin as much as we were talking about him. And Ashley doesn't understand how a relationship expert missed all the red flags in her own relationship. And Ashley, she was like, when are you going to admit that you just made a mistake? Just come out and admit that you made a mistake instead of like playing victim. You made a mistake. And Winter has an issue with Ashley's delivery and her tone. So Ashley apologized for her tone, but she didn't apologize for what she said. And I think Ashley, yeah, you do come off a little bit rough around the edges. You do come off a little bit strong, but you're making some really good points. Just your delivery is a little bit off, and that makes Winter very, very defensive. But Winter, talk to us. How did you miss the red flags? Because this man had nothing. This man had nothing. You never saw a house, a car, a bank account, a checkbook. Probably didn't even see a job. But for some reason, you decided to marry him, probably against your better instinct and the advice of everybody around you. You saw something in this man and you wanted to marry him. Now you realize he's a scam artist. He scammed you out of I don't know how much money. You got all entangled in his fraudulent business deals. And now you're talking about him like he's a damn dog in the street. All I want to know, Winter, what did you see in Kevin? What did you see in him? What was it? Was it the sweet talking? Did he play that Jedi mind trick on? What was it about Kevin that got you hooked, that got you so hooked to him? That got you to marry him? You wouldn't dare go to his house because of COVID, but you definitely got married during COVID. So what was it about dear Mr. Kevin that made you want to get married in the middle of a pandemic to a man that, girl, please tell us. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. What was it that made you want to get with this man? And now you're talking about him like he's a damn dog. That is my review. Oh, Chris and Monique. Yeah, there's something going on there. Chris is a very angry man. I don't know if he's always been angry, but I think I remember when they were on Potomac, the Real Housewives of Potomac, I think I remember them getting along a little bit better. I don't know. But there's something going on there. And Chris is pissed. And he's trying to contain that tornado that is brewing underneath the surface. If you like my review, on your way out, go ahead and rate this video. If you like this content, subscribe. If you don't worry about it. Either way, thank you for stopping by. And I'll definitely talk to you later.